Long before serial killers and mass murders have become a way of life, two adults and six children were found brutally murdered in their beds in the small midwestern town of Villisca, Iowa. During the weeks that followed, life in this small town changed drastically. As residents of this small town reinforced locks, openly carried weapons, and huddled together while sleeping, newspaper reporters and private detectives flooded the streets. Accusations, rumors, and suspicion ran rampant among friends and families. Bloodhounds were brought in. Law enforcement agencies from neighboring countries and states joined forces. Hundreds of interviews filled thousands of pages. And yet, the murders remain unsolved, the murderer unpunished. In 1994, Darwin and Martha Lynn of Corning, Iowa, purchased the former home of murder victim J.B. Moore and his family. The house was returned to its original condition at the time of the murders on June 10, 1912. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places and opened for tours. Films and books on the murders have recently captured the interest of an audience who had never heard of this horrendous crime. Psychics claim they've identified the murderers, and history buffs continue collecting piles of documents they say point to the truth. So what is the truth? Here's the story of Villisca axe murder. On June 9 and 10 of 1912, Lena and Ina Stillinger, the daughter of Joseph and Sarah Stillinger, left their home for church early Sunday morning. They planned on having dinner with their grandmother after the morning service, spending the afternoon with her and then returning to her home to spend the night after the Children's Day exercises concluded. The girls, however, were invited by Catherine Moore to spend the night at the Moore home instead. Prior to leaving for exercises, Mr. Moore placed a call to the Stillinger home to ask permission for the girls to stay overnight. Blanche, Lena, and Ina's older sister told Mr. Moore that her parents were both outdoors, but she would pass the message along them. The Children's Day program at the Presbyterian Church was an annual event and began at approximately 8 p.m. on Sunday evening, June 9th. According to witnesses, Sarah Moore coordinated the exercises. All of the Moore children as well as the Stillinger girls participated. Josiah Moore sat in the congregation. The program ended at 9:30 p.m. and the Moore family, along with the Stillinger sisters, walked home from church. They entered their home sometime between 9:45 and 10 p.m. The following morning, at approximately 5 a.m., Mary Peckham, the Moore's next-door neighbor, stopped in her yard to hang laundry. At approximately 7 a.m., she realized that not only had the Moores not been outside nor the chores began, but the house itself seemed unusually still. Between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning, Mary Peckham approached the house and knocked on the door. When she received no response, she attempted to open the door, only to find it locked from the inside. After letting out the Moore's chickens, Mary placed a call to Josiah's brother, Ross Moore, setting into place one of the most mismanaged murder investigations to ever be undertaken. Upon arriving at the home of his brother, Ross Moore attempted to look in a bedroom window and then knocked on the door and shouted, attempting to raise someone inside the house. When that failed, he produced his key and found one that opened the door. Although Mrs. Peckham followed him onto the porch, she did not enter the parlor. Ross went no farther than the room off the parlor. When she opened the bedroom door, he saw two bodies on the bed and dark stains on the bedclothes. He returned immediately to the porch and told Mrs. Peckham to call the sheriff. The two bodies in the room downstairs were Lina Stillinger, age 12, and her sister Ina, age 8, house guests of the Moore children. The remaining members of the Moore family were found in the upstairs bedroom by City Marshal Hank Horton, who arrived shortly. Every person in the house had been brutally murdered, their skulls crushed as they slept. Josiah Moore, age 43, Sarah Montgomery Moore, age 39, Herman Moore, age 11, Catherine Moore, age 9, Boyd Moore, 7, and Paul Moore, 5 years old, as well as the Stillinger sisters. In all honesty, though, we will never really know what happened on that dark night inside the home of J.B. and Sarah Moore. The murderer or murderers were never caught, and given the many years that have passed, their dark secret was obviously carried with them to their own graves. For some, the speculation was almost too much to bear, and in 1912, townspeople began to distinguish and identify themselves by who they believed committed the crime. Friendships became strained and in many cases irrevocably broken. The town stood then, and in many cases still stands divided.